want to brew a nice light beer, and a 3% beer.
There seems to be, at least in the US, maybe not in Europe yet. In the US, they seem to start thinking a lot about non-alcoholic beers, or barely alcoholic beers. We're talking 1% IPAs, or
right.
It seems to be the trend in the US market from what I read online.
There's a movement kind of sales-wise, like that. If you put 100 cases on the market of an 8% beer, it's gone. There's no problem. But you could put 400 cases of a 4.5%, 5% beer onto the market, and it's gone. There's much more of an appetite for lighter, more sessionable beers. Because I even find it myself, you're looking through the fridge on a Tuesday, kind of saying, "Oh, I'll have a couple of beers there now."
Yeah.
And you're like 8%, 8%, 8%. I was like, no, I'm brewing in the morning. I'm getting up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
4.2, 5%. So yeah, I'll have a few of these. And I think that's where the volume is in Ireland and kind of in craft beer at the moment. You want to make a beer that people will drink on a Tuesday, not just on a Saturday at 9 o'clock. You're really limiting yourself to a time frame there where people will drink that. We see it in our reviews as well, kind of going, like the Little Ace of Haze is only 4.2%, and they're kind of going, it's great to have a beer with such body and such flavor, but with that low alcohol that you can have 2 cans and you're fine to drive in the morning. You're not putting yourself under that much pressure. You can have a can with lunchtime. It's a different kind of ball game.
Yeah, but I think as the trend has been there now for a couple of years, people have become more fussy, and the innovation and the quality improvements over low and no alcoholic beers in the last couple of years, are miles apart. A non-alcoholic beer 8-9 years ago was terrible. You're handed some now, and you have to be convinced that there's no alcohol in it because it just tastes like a beer. Right. And this wasn't achievable a couple of years ago. And it's So now that that's there, I think that market will just continue to grow.
Yeah, that's definitely what the consumers are getting more picky over. I remember I used to work in pubs, and the only non-alcoholic beer you'd ever have was non-alcoholic Erdinger, which everyone would just accept. I think now a lot of the last pub I worked years ago, you couldn't sell that, because it was just a taste rubbish, and you had to have Lervig non-alcoholic and XYZ non-alcoholic, and people expected a choice actually of non-alcoholic beers in the bar. Yeah. Just one wasn't enough. You had to have 3 or 4. That's only going to grow actually. Like you were saying with the drink volume regulations becoming cost stricter and stuff, being more conscientious of that. I think that's definitely here to stay. Definitely.
Yeah, it's still not a big trend in Belgium. Nope.
No, they're still drinking beers.
The 5% is low alcohol.
It's actually, I think, the non-alcoholic beers never made it until now. I don't know why, but I think it's the quality of the beer. A lot of people are beginning to make non-alcoholic beer. We actually made one, and it's working really well. It's
okay.
I have actually, I'm amazed. I was really not convinced when I was going to taste it. I was like, I tasted those beer 5-10 years ago, and I was like, it was really disgusting.
Yeah.
And now it's beginning to be really good.